Hello and welcome to Strong Leaders, Strong Communities, where we explore how the unique genius of West Tennessee leaders influences the way they serve their communities during this COVID 19 pandemic. My name is Lori Ware, and it is my privilege to serve as CEO for Strong Communities, a global movement that focuses on what is oh so right with people and communities of all kinds. Today, we are excited to welcome Mayor Julian McTizzick from Bolivar, Tennessee, as our guest. Thank you for joining us, Mayor.
Thanks for having us. We're excited to be a part and just looking forward to having a great conversation with you.
Oh, likewise, likewise. It's always a joy to have a conversation with you. So I've been really looking forward to this. But before we dive into your strengths, will you tell everyone who's watching or listening a bit about yourself and a bit about Bolivar, Tennessee?
Okay, all right. I'll get excited when I talk about Bolivar. So let me know if I just stop me and say, okay, that's enough. All right. uh,
Let it
my name
rip.
my name is Julian McTizzick. I am the mayor of Bolivar. Guess I took office July 1st, 2017. Been here in the seat now right at 3 years. Was not expecting to be in the leadership role during a pandemic. That was never anything on the agenda. But we're here, excited about it. I'm married with four little boys: a 8-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 3-month-old. So we got them in every little wave there. But they're our gifts to me and my wife. We love them, and they keep
Mm.
us going, keep us excited. So it's always, I'm not a challenge. It's always fun and different,
Yeah.
having them around and being a part. So the city is watching them grow up. And I have some say the city is watching me grow up. So I'm 33. I took office when I had just turned 31. Well,
Wow.
started 30, had just turned 30, and being the youngest first African American mayor of Bolivar, and so excited to be serving my community. So I don't like saying leading as much as I say serving, because
Uh,
that's what it's all about, community service. So just trying to do what we think is best for our community, and just do what we can to make it better. It's been exciting. Bolivar is a small community, just rural America. We have a little over 5,000 citizens. We've been established in the early 1800s, and we're a historic town. We have a nice court square that we're trying to build on, and it before this happened, it was all thriving. Things were starting to grow in downtown, opening up new businesses, new restaurants. Gratefully, they are still here. Things are still happening, and
Wonderful.
I'm just excited that I'm hoping and praying that we're going to make it through without losing any business or having any business closed. That's our prayer right now, and we're trying to do everything we can to wrap our arms around those businesses to make sure that they're still here once this is over. So I encourage everyone to come check us out. That's right south of Jackson, east of Memphis, on Highway 64. So right here in West Tennessee. Yep.
It's a sweet little town, and I just want to congratulate you on being the youngest and the first African American mayor. I guess I just didn't realize that. That is
Yeah.
just awesome.
Yeah.
And you grew up in Bolivar, right?
Yes, ma'am. I was born and raised in Bolivar. It's funny. I always tell the story. I grew up here, was saying as soon as I graduate high school, I'm going to college and I'm never coming back. I hate this place. It's horrible. Why would anybody want to live in Bolivar? It's the worst place in the world to be. That's what I grew up saying.
Wow.
People say God has a sense of humor. Well, if he has any, he did it with me. I'm not only am I living in Bolivar, but I'm the mayor of the town. So but it's like I said, it's a joy and excitement. I never imagined that, it was not a goal of mine. And even up until I decided to run, it was never my intent of running because of, hey, I can't wait because I want to be the first African American. I want to be the youngest or anything like that. I love my community and I wanted to do something to make it better. So now I'm here.
Well, you are, and for a time such as this, right? And so it's invigorating to hear you talk about Bolivar, and I mean clearly there's so much passion there, and I know that the residents of Bolivar are really inspired by your love and care for the community, especially during this time. Mayor McTizick, I can't wait to dive into your top 5 talent themes. But before we do, I have to, I suppose we should maybe let other folks know where you discovered this language for what is oh so right with you. Um, and then we'll dive in. So, for those that are not familiar with the Clifton Strengths Assessment, also known as the Strengths Finder, it reveals the top 5 most natural patterns of thinking, feeling, and behavior within each of us. And the results are so unique to us that the odds of anyone in the world sharing those same top 5 in the same order as our results is 1 in 33.5 million. And
Wow.
so, isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
And, and so to put that in perspective, you know, when you look at the U.S., that means there's about 9 other people across the U.S. that might have your same top 5 in the same order as you. But
Wow.
what I know, what we know for sure is that even if that were the case, they did not grow up in your home with your mom and dad and your siblings and didn't go to your school, and the list goes
Right.
on and on and
Yep.
on and on. And so we believe that that each of us truly is uniquely genius, and that we have something to offer the world that only we can offer in the way that we offer it. So you'll hear people talk about these as strengths. You'll hear people talk about them as talents or talent themes. They are used those words are all used interchangeably, and they're not labels. They're not what we do. Rather, they are how we instinctively approach everything. So basically, they're how we process life. They're the prism through which we look. And it's a crazy privilege to get to explore that within our community's leaders. So thank you again for being here. I'm
Thanks for having me as well.
oh yeah, I'm if I remember correctly, I think you completed the assessment maybe late October of last year in preparation for SOAR with Strong
Yes, yeah.
Communities.
Latter part of last year. It was around actually I think it was like around November during Veterans Day, because I think we had a Veterans Day program that we were late getting to, or had to leave early to get to the first meeting. So it was around that time. I
That
don't know
makes,
how I remember that.
well, I don't either. That's impressive. That's
Yeah.
very impressive. Well, so I'm curious, do you remember what your initial reaction was when the results were revealed to you?
Um, it's funny because I take a lot of these, tests and strengths and weaknesses and different things like that, and you sort of go into these things thinking like, I know me, I'm this, I'm this, I'm that, but this sort of brought a different perspective on it for me. And I remember when I sat down and I looked, and it was like, oh, I guess that's right. Like it was like, okay, I guess I do lead like that. Never tried to put it together and just say, okay, this is how I think in my mind or whatever. Just I'm this type of person, but to actually sit down and see it lay out in front of me. And what really brought it in perspective for me, my neighbors, some of my friends or colleagues that I was sitting beside that we know each other, we would look and say like, yeah, that's you, and no, that's you too. So and to bring it all together, I don't want to go too far ahead, but to bring it together really meant a lot, because
Oh,
you can see, this puzzle piece on this side's like this, and you have this, and we could do this and clash, but to bring it together as a community. So I'm excited. It was very just eye opening for me, and now sometimes I critique myself almost like it, like thinking, okay, I know my strengths. Is this something that I should try to take the lead on, or should I try to
mm.
pass this off to someone else? So it was good, and more we got involved, it really opened up even more. So yeah,
Oh,
I was excited about it.
We loved, continue to love working with you guys in that respect, and that's so beautifully stated. A friend of mine calls it understanding what is a right and perfect sized, in your case, Julian hole to be filled. Right. So
Right.
when you get real clear about what you do instinctively well and what brings you joy and energizes you, and you do really easily, then when things come and you go, I can do that, but is
Right.
there somebody else who would be so fulfilled and do it so much better and faster and enjoy it so much more than me?
Right.
And having this language, then we can more readily say, who is perfect for that, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So love your feedback on that. So let's take a look at your top five.
Okay.
And so some people who are watching will immediately connect with these, and we're going to take a little bit of a dive into each one. But your number one is woo. Number
Yeah.
two is positivity. Yeah, and our audience would have never guessed that, right, whatsoever. And then followed by arranger,
Yep.
and futuristic is
Futuristic.
your number four, and then your fifth is communication, and
Yeah.
which you do so beautifully. So let's talk about, Mayor McTizick. Let's talk about how these are showing up for you right now. Always, but right now, how do you see them playing out? So, if we look at woo, what I'd like to do is read for our audience the brief Gallup description of the
Mhm.
theme, and then you can tell us what that looks like from your perspective.
Right.
So, WOO is an acronym for winning others over. And it's described as people exceptionally talented in this theme love the challenge of meeting new people and winning them over. They derive satisfaction from breaking the ice and making a connection with someone.
Right. Yeah.
That resonate with you?
Oh yeah, and I like the picture that you have with wolves, like yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean definitely it is because it's I say it all the time. Everybody has a different personality,
Mhm.
and like we meet, it's opportunity. Like how could I when I meet Lori, how can I benefit her or what she's doing? Same way, how can she benefit me and what I'm doing? There's no need for us to pull against each other, and there's some type of way that your personality can. We always look at it clashing. Yeah, a lot of things people do clash, but somewhere along the line, you guys can find a way to work together. And it may mean you may have to back off some to win that person over, but I know some of the best relationships I have are with some of the people that didn't necessarily support my ideas or supported what we wanted to do and what we thought was good. They
Mhm.
have became some of my biggest friends and biggest colleagues and supporters because just because we don't agree, I don't have to write you off. I don't we may not agree on that one particular thing, but I'm a firm believer that we agree on a whole lot more than what we disagree on.
Oh,
So we just got to figure out what it is.
so true, so true. And when we have a neutral language that's not personal, when
Right,
we understand how somebody is wired and kind of what their filters are, then we can offer each other a little more grace than we could
right, yeah,
before, right?
exactly, yeah,
Where somebody we might perceive them to be throwing cold water on something that we're working on. For them, it may be that they just need more information so they can really get behind you, and
right,
so they're
exactly,
they're not throwing cold water. They're trying to help. And when we
right,
when we kind of have that shift in mindset, we can all
yeah.
work together better.
Perspective is everything. I tell all my department heads that when we talking, you got to remember what people perceive is what they believe. And I tell them that all the time. So if people perceive you to be taking advantage of them, like they're gonna believe it. If their perception in their mind is this is not right, it may. I don't care how many times you tell them that it is. If they believe that it's wrong, and that's how they see it. That's so,
Yeah.
and it's not for us to try to change necessarily what it is that they're saying or how they're saying it. Just try to explain to them, okay, give them all the facts on the front end so you can get to it. Now you're gonna have the naysayers or whatever. That's one thing, but most people, they think in their head, well, Lori's this because that's just what I think, but that's not really the right thing. That's not really true. Just let me tell you about it. So that's how I try to look at all of it. Yeah. Well,
That's great. That's great wisdom. That's great wisdom. So what we perceive, what they perceive is what they believe, right?
right.
And so
Yes.
that's true. That's truth for all of us.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I tell
yeah.
them all the time. So I use the example of some of our employees. I get guys, maintenance guys working, if they're outside taking a break, if I just drive down the street, and I say the advantage and disadvantage a lot of times for working in a city, a small community. Everybody knows everybody. And I'm riding through town, and if I see a group of city employees that's standing outside not doing anything, I'm in my head like, oh, they're wasting our taxpayers' dollars, and there's too many people out there. Look, they're not even doing anything. They're just holding the lawnmower. They're just doing this. Well, they weren't there, 5 minutes ago when they had been working for hours straight without a break. And
Hmm.
they weren't there through that part. They just pulled up when you was taking a break. Like, there's no need for you to get upset, but just remember, they didn't see you working 2 hours straight. They just pulled up and saw you standing on the side of the tree just holding up a shovel. So people perceive that you're not working. And in
Hmm.
their head, that's what they believe. So when we take our breaks, instead of taking them right in the middle of town and sitting on the back of the city truck tailgate, load your equipment up, go to the shop, take your break, come back out. So when the citizens see you, then they see you working all the time. So small things like that goes a long way in a small community where you're gonna see everybody all the time. So just change the perception, of people, because no one likes government. I don't care. Everybody's always has a problem with government. So we got to
Hmm.
change the mindset of people and let them know, like, we're here to help you. Yeah.
Yes, yes, and help them and help them make that shift, right? We've got
Right.
to give them
Yes. Right.
evidence to help them make that shift. Um, I I so appreciate it. Was like your woo and your positivity and your arranger were all in the middle of that whole scenario. It was so beautifully played out. You looking for a glass half full. How do we take this situation and turn it around and make it a positive situation? Where it does reflect reality, where it does reflect our commitment, and then the arranger piece with you being the conductor, right? It's like you're conducting a symphony, and the
Right.
folks who are doing the lawn efforts and keeping Bolivar beautiful are the horn section, if you will.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
you know and so you're looking at all of the pieces of the orchestra and how you can arrange it so that everybody has the best experience. That is
Right.
so wonderful. Um, so positivity, I want to share this definition right quick. People exceptionally talented in the positivity theme have contagious enthusiasm. They're upbeat and can get others excited about what they're going to do. And
Yeah.
so, when you talked about um, people that maybe did not support your ideas early on, but then became your biggest supporters, do you think
Right.
that your optimistic, hopeful, fun-loving, ability to light up and lighten the mood, do you think that was part of your success in that area?
Oh yes, definitely. It's sort of hard. You can be mean, mad, upset, but when people are warming, welcoming to you, and we're still the South, and just generosity goes a long way.
Hmm.
Uh, a smile or a being genuine and reaching out, and most of the time, the naysayers, or the ones that's not really on board or whatever. Just a lot of times, it's easier to X them off. It's easier to say, okay, they're not going to support this. Every community has them. Right? Yeah, I agree. It's easier to just ignore them, but it doesn't make them go away, and it makes sometimes while you're ignoring them, it's just that group is getting louder and bigger, and it's harder to fight that giant. But
Yeah,
if
yeah.
it's
That
something as simple as just going out and just being kind, being positive, a smile, or what, you don't like this way, what's your idea? And most of the
Yes.
time, some people, the ones that really care and want to do what's right and want to, what's best for the community, they're willing to engage. And I've learned this, that has helped me a whole lot. A lot of times when people say, well, y'all don't need to do this, or the city needs this, or, you know, when they have a complaint, the first thing I ask, well, you tell me what we can do to make it better, or what would you do if you have the authority to make the call? What decision would you make? And I learned that one or two things, they're going to come out and help you, or the second thing, they don't have anything. They don't, and sometimes they realize that it's like, you know what? I don't know. You know, I don't know what to do either. So it's like, let's come in together and try to figure it out, or they go away. You know, so just a smile. And I know we're in the middle of this COVID-19, so you can't hug, but that's been the biggest problem I've had through this whole thing. Like, I feel so rude when I walk up to somebody and I don't extend the hand, or if they extend the hand, or if I have to do it. That's just, I mean, that's so, in my mind, it's rude.
It is. I got to tell you, I think it's a struggle for me too. I feel your pain,
Yeah.
and you can't even do this from 6 feet away.
Right, exactly. And I have to stay away from me, you know.
Yeah,
So it's funny,
yeah.
every time I go to the city and I'm speaking to everybody, and I'm up somewhere north somewhere, everybody's like, hey, you know, like, who are you? You know, and I'm like, oh, okay, I forget, you guys don't speak here. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
forgot the rules of the road here, right?
Right, yeah.
So let's visit your arranger for just a minute. Um, so people exceptionally talented in the arranger theme can organize, but they also have a flexibility that complements the ability. They like to determine how all of the pieces and resources can be arranged for maximum productivity. You gave us a great example of that. Do you have another you'd like to share?
Well, for me, I'll say it wasn't difficult, but one of the challenges that we had to work through when I came in and running during the election, it was, people were nervous. I was young, way younger than any other person that had even ran. Just young, and just the fear of the unknown. So when what does this guy know about running the city, or what does this guy know about this and all that? So when I had my first department head meeting, I was sitting around a table, and I say 5 or 6 guys, ladies and gentlemen, whatever, sitting around. And I looked around this table, and pretty much every department head that I have on staff, they have been working for the city, almost longer than I've been alive. I'm
Wow.
30 years old. All of them has 30 plus years. Some of them, I think the lowest I have is one guy, I think he has like 21 years, I think. But every single one of them has been with the city as a department head of some type of management role longer than I've even been living. So, when I came in, I wanted to let them know, I'm not here to tell you how to run a police department. I'm not here to tell you how to run a fire department. If you don't know how to do it by now, there's nothing that I can tell you to get you to do it. But I wanted them to look at it way, how can we be more efficient, and how can we go from good to great? What can we do? How can the fire department help the police department? Or what can we do at our utility department that will help our parks and rec? How
Mm.
can we all work together to be more efficient for the city? If that means, if a police officer noticed something that's wrong at the park, a phone call here, or some type of system that we can put together where we have different things and people are aware. If my street department, they're going through every neighborhood almost daily picking up trash or doing their sanitation route. How can that help solve crime? Or if they notice something
Mhm.
out of place, how can they report that to the police department? How can we work together in all
Mm.
the other departments? So that was my goal, and I tried to explain that to them. I'm not here to show you. I don't have a clue about a water utility department. I can't tell you anything about running new gas lines, electric stuff. I don't do that's I don't do that. I don't know that part. I trust that you have the experience, the knowledge, and the capability to do that. So what I want to do is, like I said, bring all of us here together at this table,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
don't have just meetings and report to me what your department is doing. Let's see how we can cross the lines here and
Mm.
work together, not when something is wrong, but just what can we do to just be more efficient. And I commend our guys. We've done that. They talk more, what can we do to use that equipment at the fire department for the Parks and Rec. You know, how can we all coincide that together? So it's been great. And in the meantime, I've learned about utility departments and sewer stations and lift stations and all that stuff. So it's just the small things like that that will
Oh,
go
yeah.
a long way, you know. And I have my police department, if they see something out of place or they're going through the park and notice things, it's so easy to say that's not my job, or that's not in my department, you know,
Hmm.
but it is. And now that we've had that system, now as we move forward, I'm trying to challenge the guys on how we can use our various departments for economic development. You know,
Oh,
am I
what
doing
a,
my part, you know, to sell my community? So that's what
yeah.
we're working on now. And I told them, if I have a guy that comes in, somebody wants to say, I want to develop I don't know, apartment complex in Balver. If I want to invest $10 million in your city, how am I in my Parks and Rec? What am I doing with the Parks and Rec department to be able to help sell Balver? Or what am I doing, you know, at the senior center to help sell our community? So we all in this thing together. The better our city is if we have a great fire department, police department, but we have a horrible sanitation department, you know, they're saying you're only strong as your weakest link, you know, so that's how it all works together. So that's been our challenge now. What are we doing? What are we doing as a department, your own individual entity? And I
Mhm.
want them to take that from my level, go to the department end, and then all the way down to the employees, because every
Right.
single guy is important. So what are we doing as a laborer, the lowest guy that we have on the totem pole? His job is important. You know, when we got people coming through looking at
Absolutely.
our community, picking up trash is just as important as the top guy at the police department. You know, we need everyone.
Well, I have to tell you, as I was listening to you, there's such a, I mean, it's clearly you're a ranger with all the dynamic parts. That's got to be thrilling to you on some level, to have such a dynamic environment that you can inspire people to move to new heights with. But what I heard also in what you just shared is your futuristic theme. And because you're positioning Bolivar for a vision that you're holding for the future. And so I'm curious. I know people with futuristic are typically fascinated with tomorrow and what's 10 years
Yes.
out.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to help people see what you see. You know,
Right.
um,
Yeah.
so what do you see? What do you see coming up that
Well,
all of this is gonna result in?
I'm excited in the process, even through everything that's going on. It's been challenging. And I hate it for every other fellow elected official, because I know they're feeling like I'm feeling. You know, whether you're in the beginning of your term, the middle, or the end, you don't come in or you don't run your campaign or you don't talk about, I'm so excited because I get to lead my community or my city through a pandemic. I'm so excited that I'm going to be the leader of my town in the midst of chaos. Like that's
Yeah.
never the discussion. But now that we're here and that we're dealing with it, what I'm looking at is, what do we look like after this is over?
Hmm.
So and we were excited because we had a lot of events, a lot of things planned for downtown, for our whole community, things that we were looking at doing with our school systems. So now everything is just stopped. But that's not necessarily a negative thing. So I'm looking at it, I'm trying to say, look, guys, now we have way more time to plan. Like,
Hmm.
we're at the point now, we can't go anywhere, we can't move, we're at a standstill. So let's get back to the drawing board, where we're at the point where sometimes, I know as an elected official, I joke with one of my department heads say all the time, well, I already know, Mayor, all right, give me your 4-year goal. I mean, everything that usually every elected official plans on 4 years. Like, I need this project started and done within 3 years because the next election's coming up. I need this started and done, next election's coming up.
Hmm.
So I try not to do a lot of that type of stuff where we'll be every 3 years or every 2.5 years, we got a brand new project coming. Um, but we get the time to sort of bag back, and the time that we're having downtime, we can talk to our community. We can have those conversations where we're not as busy and say, look, guys, we're going through, but look, like the guts of the city, the skeleton is still here. Like we're
Mm-hmm.
still here. We hadn't lost infrastructure. We hadn't lost any of that things. We may be short on revenue. Our employees, our citizens may be going through trying times, but we're still here. Like we still have the bones that we need to. The projects are there. So what we're excited about, and once this is slowed down, everything gets better, we can pick up where we left off with more strength, more energy.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody is at the burnout stage, because I know once everything gets going, then you get burnt out, because a lot of times you have 80% of the work being done by 20% of the people, and by the time you're in the middle of the year, it's just, oh my God, I'm ready for this to be over. Let's move on to something else. We're not at that point. Everybody right now is on go, just waiting for the button to be pushed.
Yeah.
And it's so much energy. And I'm trying to get our department heads and everybody, look, we got to capitalize on this. When we get out, we got to let people know. Now, all the people that were saying, there's nothing to do here. There's nothing involved to do. But now that you're locked at home, you want to go out and be involved. Like you want to just go outside and go to those parks that you forgot we had.
Mm-hmm.
You want to take advantage of the things that you just been taking for granted. So now, like, hey guys, let's make sure that the facilities that we have at that on our cities in are top notch. So it's perfect. Our restaurants, I'm telling our small businesses, I know it's hard, I know, but takes this time to do some of that cleaning that you want to be doing, that deep cleaning at the restaurant. So when those things open up, not only, I know it's going to be the same diner we've been going to, but now it looks like it's brand new. Yeah. Because we haven't saw it in so long. It's like my boys, it's like every time they get a new toy, one gets pushed farther back. Mm-hmm. Now they can go back and be like, man, I forgot I had this. This is great. Let's play with this again. So that's where I'm at. We're excited about where we can go and move forward. And we don't have a working on budget. I'm telling my guys, we're not going to try to do a lot of new spending, new budgets, things like that. Let's take advantage of what we have. I think we already appreciate it more now. Anyway, if you don't appreciate your freedoms now, I mean, check your pulse. If you don't appreciate just being able to go out, I'm wondering, is this where you should be? You know, do you really want to live here? So at this point, everybody's excited to have those freedoms back. Yes. Let's try to take advantage of them and keep them here, small town, at home. Just so I can't wait that we can. I told we're going to have a big party, game day, something long on down the line,
Oh yeah.
Down, but we're now we've had the opportunity to take advantage of technology, and it doesn't need to go anywhere. So people, the snail people are forced to take advantage of technology and use technology in a way that they've never had to or wanted to. And the great thing about it now, we're doing people are a lot more involved on Zoom and social media and different things that they didn't necessarily want to do, but now they're doing it. They're having to check their email, and I'm in a rural community, and my average age, I don't have a lot of young people, a lot of millennials. We, more of a baby boomer group, but we have now they're forced to be involved with technology, and now it's like, it's a whole new group of people coming together here. It's like you had these people that didn't have a Facebook page or didn't want to do any Zoom stuff, and then you had this group that was doing it all the time. And now it's like, oh, okay, now we can connect. So I'm looking, hopefully we can do that moving in the future. The millennials is helping now, where you didn't want them in your office. Now you call them, like, hey, will you show me how to work this Zoom meeting?
There are so many beautiful things happening, and that was the next question I was going to ask you, actually, after just saying that. Communication is his top 5, and I would bet that anybody that is watching this was clear about that before they even knew that talent theme existed. Great conversationalist, great presenter. That's what this theme is all about, and you exhibit it just over and over and over again. And I was going to ask, what new normal has come out of this that you really, really want to keep? And you just shared that with us. Because,
yes, definitely.
Yeah, that's there's such an opportunity. We think about in organizations, there's has been this divide between the people
Yes.
that have been around for a long time and their way, and then our younger talent and their way. And the truth of the matter is, we desperately needed a bridge to be built so that we could
Right.
transition all of that institutional knowledge into younger talent so it stays with the
Exactly.
community.
Right. Yes.
And
Yeah.
so here you have it, right? And you, I have to give a shout out to this. You and your bride have done an extraordinary thing with technology, and folks, they were on Good Morning America, highlighted on Good Morning America for their nightly game night. Um, tell our audience about how that evolved. Oops, I think I lost
Well,
Madam Mackenzie.
my
There we go.
daughter. Okay, we were on the stay-at-home orders when this first started, and it was like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? We're going crazy, and my wife was like, hey, let's do game night. Let's play some games online. I told her no, I was not interested in it at all. She was like, well, come on, let's do it. So we honestly thought maybe 4 or 5 of our friends would get on. Our moms, mamas always support the kids no matter what they're doing. So we just figured our mom would get on, and that would be pretty much it. Well, we got on and started playing, and we got up to like 5 beers and 10 and 40 and 50, and it was like, oh my God, where are all these people coming from? Who is these? So we started playing, and we got off, and it was like, wow, that was great. Let's do it again. So we did it again the next night, and it just kept growing. And we thought about how can we use it to do, help support local businesses in their time. And my wife came up with this whole bingo game concept deal, and people started donating money to businesses, and we started buying gift cards, and businesses started calling because it was great. And it's just a testament to our community, because we had people that had money that they wanted to support the local businesses. So what we were doing, people would say cash out, $20 to buy a gift card. So we would go to the business to buy the gift card that they could use it when this is over with. But the business was like, hey, we want to give back to the community.
Mm.
And, in their time, like I just brag on the business because they're in their time of doing without, they're still trying to find ways to help the community, and the community is still trying to find ways to help business. So we just kept growing and growing and growing. And like she does all the little flyers and gets all the little cute, pretty stuff together. And we go on at 8 o'clock. We sit in our living room and just play games for an hour, and just sort of get away from everything that's going on. We pray together with the community. We talk. I give them a look update on things going on with the virus, new orders, new things that we got going out. And we get a call one day, and my wife was like, somebody just called, so it was on Good Morning America. And I was like, what? When we looked, and they just, so it's been great. This she started, and that she gets all of them together, and gets all the shares from the Facebook page and stuff. It's amazing. So we average about 6,000. We reach about 6,000-7,000 people every night.
Oh my word, I didn't realize it had gotten that big.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
Mayor, that's awesome. That is
yeah.
just awesome. So I've been able to join a couple of times, not for any length of time, but just to see you and Demetria and your boys, and it's so real, so authentic, and such a beautiful way to connect your community. I just want to thank you for the way that you are supporting your community, and just by being who you are, by being who you cannot help but be.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful to get to witness it. I'm grateful to share the language with you, that we can explain to people, these extraordinary capacities that you have. And just as we close here, is there one other thing that you would want people to know as we part ways?
Yeah, I'll say take your strengths, know your strengths, know your weaknesses. I would encourage you, take the test, take the assessment. I hate to say test, but assessment, just survey or whatever you want to call it. You may not be aware of some of the strengths or weaknesses that you may have, but I'll say as a community, it's really worth the time to sit down and do, because like it's about, I wish I could just take the energy that we got when we had that meeting and just bottle it up, and just every time we have a meeting, just pour energy juice from that meeting to the other, because it's hard to talk about. It's hard to say like Julian is this type of person, and we don't need that right now, or this person is like this, and we don't want to have that talk because sometimes it gets difficult. But when you have that talk and realize how you can use it and how you can build, and like, and work together. My granddad used to use an analogy like about the fish. Once you put the fish in, take the fish out and lay him on the ground, he's useless. There's nothing he can do. You put the fish in water, then he can swim. But that's a fish. That's what he's supposed to do. It's nothing special. He's doing what he's made to do.
Yes.
So when you find out what you're made to do and you do it, and I don't feel like I love serving our community. It's been challenging at times, but it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like, it's not a difficult hard thing to do. When we have hard times, when I get the complaints, and when I feel like I've made 10 people happy, then I turn around and make 10 people mad, I'm able to make it through because I just love people, love being able to work with people in our community. So I would encourage everybody, find out what that is, and if you're behind the scenes person, be behind the scenes and be the best at it, because the ones in the front need the people behind the scenes, or we can't do it, So
That's right. It takes us all, and
yeah,
it takes, we need great contributors in our world right now. And the way we all contribute best is by just bringing who we are and how we are to the equation, and with
right,
knowledge, right? With that
right,
knowledge.
yeah,
So, Mayor McTizick, oh my word, what a joy to be with you today. I thank you for sharing your experience as a mayor and your experience of this pandemic. And I just celebrate that, you've been out in a pretty warm day, all
yes.
day
I'm
today,
sorry.
serving
I'm
folks. And
about my
no,
time.
no, it's all good. He's been out for a food drive, and 42,000 meals, the equivalent of 42,000 meals distributed.
Yes, ma'am. We our church sponsored a food drive today, and I was out there with them, and we got up this morning, got out and started parking cars and stuff, and we gave out over 600, I think 650 boxes of food, and the Mid South Food Bank donated all the meals, and it was over, I think, 42,500 meals that we gave out. So I'm so sorry, I just came
Oh
straight from
heavens.
that to me.
Listen,
Yes.
you were doing the really important work today. This is just a way for us to celebrate who you are and how you are. And I'm grateful to be with you. And we thank you, everybody else, for joining us. And thank you for encouraging people to discover this language of strengths. So if you're interested in discovering what is oh so right with you and sharing this language with Mayor Julian and myself and a host of other people in West Tennessee and around the world, or if you're looking for a way to keep your team or community members connected and engaged in the midst of all that we're experiencing, we'd love to serve you. Just send us an email at engage, E-N-G-A-G-E, engage at strongcommunities.coach. That's engage at strongcommunities.coach, and we will connect with you and talk about how we might be able to support you and those that you're shepherding and leading through this event. So again, thank you so much. Everybody stay safe, stay well. Uh, Mayor Julian, I look forward to seeing you again soon, and
Yes,
hopefully we'll
ma'am.
be able to have a hug. Yeah, virtual hugs to
Yeah,
you.
we had our first meeting, and they started talking about. I felt so bad because the hospital came and they did the seminar and saying, no hugging, no shaking hands, and I had shook every person's hand in the room. No,
Oops.
like, and I was like, "Oh, sorry." So virtual hug. We'll be back soon.
Absolutely, absolutely. Can't wait. Can't wait.
Yeah.
My best to you. Thank you, dear sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Take care.